there are opportunities there. And like you said, when this thing is open and gyms are able to reopen, it's going to be the least amount of competition you will see for a good period of time.
Yeah.
So you better be ready to capitalize on it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Masters in Fitness Business podcast, where you get to stand on the shoulders of giants. And today we're bringing to you a COVID-19 giant from the great state of Connecticut. We got Chris Warens on the show. And the reason I have Chris on the show is that Thomas Plummer reached out to me, and I'm guessing that Chris is a student or a client of Thomas, and he said this guy's doing great things during this whole COVID crisis. And so the clubs that are making it out there, they're the ones who continue to deliver a quality customer experience to their clients. The ones who are not focusing on the customer experience, they're wallowing. And let's be frank here, some of them are not going to make it. Some studios are not going to make it out of the other side of this COVID-19. But I want to talk to somebody who is and have him share what he's doing so everybody can benefit from that knowledge and make it through this crisis. So this is Chris Warens. He runs CW Fitness in Connecticut, and he also has a podcast, the CW Clinic. You can probably find that everywhere you find podcasts. So we've got a lot in common. We've got podcasts. We both own gyms, and all of us are going through the COVID-19. But so, Chris, welcome to the show.
Jim, thank you for that awesome introduction, and I'm just grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And how long have you been working with Thomas?
Actually, coming on about a year now. It was June of 19 that we hooked up through a referral from my cousin who used to own like 20 gyms. Yeah.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, before we get into the nitty gritty, what benefit have you seen since working with Tom in your business?
God, do we have enough time for that? I think I should preference with I'm a very deep individual, and so is Tom. So, and which I've learned over the past year, but just having the ability to speak to someone that can relate to every single situation that I'm going through and have the answer if I'm looking for it, / coach me through it, is gold. It doesn't matter what you think; it matters what you can do. In my opinion, and what I mean by that is, if you're talking to someone that can not only understand you, coach you, mentor you on fitness, but life, and have all of the situations understood completely, I think it's priceless, honestly. I've been to several of his workshops at this point. We've spoken on the phone 1 to 2 times a month for almost a year. And it's not that my business was headed in the wrong direction when I spoke to him. We did well prior to Tom, but now a lot of things are just not easy, but they're seamless. And it just seems like there's more momentum because as the coach of the company, I'm being coached. So it's just kind of, I don't know how big your staff is. With 1099s, I have about 50-ish people on my staff. And it's a daunting task to pour that much energy into people on a daily basis. And Tom is able to teach me how to allocate my energy. And fundamentally, that's what he has really been able to change with me, is really guiding my energy to where it needs to be rather than where it was, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. So you can focus on the things that will elevate your business and not get bogged down in your
Correct.
business. Yeah,
Correct.
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tom's kind of a tell it like it is guy. There's no sugarcoating it with him on anything. So, well, with that said, let's talk about your business. What's the, because I want people to know that you are a legitimate business owner. You have a brick and mortar that is shut down because of COVID-19. So
Yeah.
tell us Squarespace, what you guys do, what services you offer, membership
Sure.
structure, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So, just to foreshadow, I've been self-employed for 12 years. I started in the online space as like an online personal trainer, if you will.
Okay.
Actually, I believe I forefronted the industry on Instagram anyways, back in 2009, I believe, 2008, 2009. But the point is, I had been in business for 8 years prior to purchasing my gym. And we're now 20,000 square feet. We're a full service boutique gym. I have about 2,500 members. Since I've been working with Tom, we've been making that shift from not a volume model, but our membership was $25 a month. And a lot of my quote unquote grandfathered in members, I kept their rate where it was when I bought it rather than bringing it up from 20 to 25. But that was the price point when I came in about 4 years ago. And that model isn't necessarily volume, but it's not necessarily boutique, if that makes any sense. So 20,000 square feet, 2,500 members. We've been making that shift towards like a training centric gym because I'm in a secondary community. It's not about volume. Owners that have been here before have tried the volume model and, we're in and out pretty quick. So there's nothing different about my gym other than, in my opinion, I'm super, super, super big on serving my people, like my staff, servant leadership, and serving my customers. So it's created what I call culture. It's not that culture is a new thing, but it's created a culture that not only does my staff thrive in, but my customers thrive in. And no matter how you look at it, your customers are going to buy because of your service. And if your service is, say, maybe a step or two up from your competitor, in my opinion, you're going to win because we all know how supply and demand works. There's plenty of fucking gyms out there, but there's not a lot that will bend over backwards for their staff as an owner, and for their staff bending over backwards for the customers. And there is a fine line, but the point is you create a safe, happy, healthy environment, culture for your staff and your customers, and you can set yourself apart. Little things that we've done is I have 2 massage therapists and a chiropractor on staff, as well as a dietitian, because my background is in nutrition.
Awesome. And then when you say a training centric, so what percentage of your membership did personal training, and what type of personal training?
Like 1%. It was very small. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that, and these are my personal opinions, but, I do all the numbers. So, so these are the numbers speaking. When I bought the place, it was after a couple of guys came in here and tried to turn it into a volume model, but there was no leadership. They were completely absentee in running it virtually. So there was no leadership amongst the staff, and I'm not a perfect leader, but I'm known for leadership, especially in Connecticut and amongst entrepreneurs. And I came in with my military experience, and I have 2 business degrees as well, including an MBA, which is leadership focused. And I just implemented the leadership. And I think a lot of the leadership pushed out a lot of people that, wouldn't fit, and brought in a lot of people that want to be led and coached. And with that being said, I turned a staff of like 15 trainers training 1% of the membership base down to 7, and now we're up to about 6%. So it's a slow growth, but it's like team training and small group training and personal training is very new to the area of Connecticut that I'm in. So I think it's important to understand that you're not going to have like 50% growth, just out of nowhere when you're trying to implement personal training in a big box full service gym, in my opinion. Does that make sense?
Okay. Absolutely. That makes perfect sense. Well, I mean, but a 5% increase is saying a lot, especially when you have 25,000 members.
2,500.
Oh, 2,500 members.
2,500, yeah.
Still, that's significant number. So,
right.
All right. So now that we understand the business, take us through when you realized that you were going to have to shut your doors and when you started making that shift to continue to deliver customer experience.
Yeah, sure. So I'm in Connecticut. I found out at 10:30 in the morning on the 16th from the state of Connecticut government, basically, that all health clubs had to close by 8 p.m. that night. So what I did was
Did you know it was coming before then?
Yes, that's a very good question. To be transparent, I knew a recession was coming, or so I thought at the end of 2019. So I also have 4 other companies that are primarily virtual based. 3 of them are virtual based. And I've been doing a lot of planning and building with the focus of virtual services, knowing that something was coming. I needed to understand how to adapt. I'm a firm believer in I'm not a victim of my circumstances. I try to create my circumstances. So that was the summer of 19. Fast forward to the Q4 of 19, and I was like, holy shit, like this economy when is it going to go? Like it's just doing so well, and I'm happy that it's doing well. I just inevitably see something coming. Enter the variable of COVID-19. And the couple of weeks prior, I started to get the sense that if this is so rapidly spread, likely either state or federal government will shut us down, whether it's Connecticut or the entire nation. So I started being proactive, trying just to put down on a piece of paper, what can I do? How do I close down my business? I've never had to close down a business. So when that time came, March 16th, 10:30 in the morning, I grabbed my only manager in the building. Her name's Alicia. She's fantastic. She's like my Group X manager, the one that runs all the Group X instructors. Mm-hmm. And I was like, get in the office. We need to fucking do something right now. And, our priority was staff, customers, vendors, right? Whiteboard, bang, 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 did it all out, figured it all out. And, before I go on, should I talk more about what I was doing pre-COVID or what I was doing as it hit?
As it hit.
So in my opinion, communication is vitally important, not only with your staff, but with your customers. And if, something like this is happening, your customers need to know. But before that, your staff needs to know, because they're all going to get text messages and phone calls from customers and friends anyways. So staff first, how to communicate to them, what to say to them. Customers, how to communicate to them, what to say to them. Vendors, meaning landlords, bank, everything, just bang, 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 bang. So it took us about 45 minutes to figure it out. It took us another 15, 20 minutes to execute the communication because, I have my Club OS, my MailChimp, my text messaging, how I interact on social media. It's a decent presence, so we have a good following. I let everybody know what was going on, staff, customers. Then I personally got in the car and drove, and this is by noon the same day. Uh, hey guys, landlords, guys, listen, don't I hope you're not looking for rent because it's not coming. You know what I mean? And they're like, what are you talking about? And you explain to them what's going on, and they go, oh, holy shit. And I'm in a strip mall, so I'm not the only one. I mean, there's
Right.
20 of us here, and 15 of them are going to close their doors. The only guy open right now is the liquor store.
That's essential.
Yeah,
He's an essential worker.
Let me tell you, that's real essential. And so getting back to it, by the time I got back to the gym, 2.5 hours after I found out, my opener, who was still there, who wanted to stay, and my daytime staff, a couple of desk people, and like my awesome customer service people, and my trainers, and I pulled them aside and I go, guys, listen, what's happening, but we're closing down at 8:00 tonight. This is serious. Why don't you guys get the hell out of here? I'll take care of the gym, and we'll figure everything out as it goes. And my staff looked at me and they're like, you kidding me? I got clients to service, Chris. Like, I'm going to go train my client. And I'm like, yeah, but you have kids. No, we'll deal with that tomorrow. Like, we're going to take care of our customers. My opener, who came in at 4:00 that morning, stayed until 8:00 at night with me all day long. And honestly, he was taking care of me all day. Chris, what do you need? What do you need done? What can I do for you? What is it? Do you need lunch? Do you need food? Do you need an email done? What do you need scanned? Da, 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 da. The point is, and what I'm getting at is, if you are a servant leader and you take care of your staff when before a natural disaster, act of God, whatever they call of this, they're going to be in the trenches with you, right? As long as they can be. And once I shut the gym down Monday night at 8 p.m., of course, I was the last one to leave, as I should be. Everybody knew what was going on. Well, for the most part, most of the customers. And the next day was me having to make the decision of, okay, what am I going to do? Stop billing my customers and potentially risk bankruptcy, or continue to bill them and have a plan? So the next 12 hours on Tuesday was me on my whiteboard brainstorming, okay, what can I do? Perfect. I started in the online space. Let's get everything online. All right. I got to figure out how to do this. Closed Facebook groups. There's this thing called Zoom that everybody's using. All right. Talk to my managers. All right, guys, I'm going to keep you on regardless. Who wants to teach classes? Hey, Chris, I'll teach classes. Okay, great. Why don't you brainstorm some classes you can teach and some hours that you can teach it? And then the other manager, all right, let's handle the back end stuff like paperwork and customer service and so on and so forth. And each idea just starts coming as each hour passes. So before the first week was done, before the 48-hour mark was done, was the communication publicly. Hey, listen, this sucks to all the customers. This sucks. We're going to do everything we possibly can to continue to service the shit out of you, provide you with everything that we can, to include, I'm going to hand out my hundreds of thousands of dollars of assets to you. Come to the gym. Here, have whatever equipment you want on me. You're not renting it, and trust me, people were giving me cash. No. You pay your membership, rent it. I mean, borrow it. These are your classes that are going to be running. And we're just getting started. Oh, and Alicia, a personal trainer, is not only going to teach all these classes, but everyone that's doing personal training, you have the ability to do personal training with Alicia virtually on Zoom and or closed Facebook groups before the 48-hour mark. So, but I wanted to make sure that the customers understood what was going on before I said, listen, for us to survive, we need to continue billing you. However much time passes, okay, will credit you once we figure out when we're going to reopen. I can't say how long I'm going to credit you for when I don't know when we're going to reopen. 9 out of 10 customers that responded to that post literally said, fuck you, Chris, and your credit, take our memberships. We don't want it. We don't want a credit. Of course, you're going to get the 99 to 1 person who's maybe in a hard position, like they're a bartender and they have no income coming in and they need to cancel their membership or want a credit. But if you take care of the majority of the customers and you communicate, that was the point. If you communicate to them clearly that you have a plan, that you're going to be positive, that you're going to get through this, that we're all humans, we're all affected, and just be like positive for them and show them some leadership. That's what my point was within the 48-hour mark. Did I answer that question correctly?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, those are common themes of people that I've talked to who are really shining. I mean, one is leadership to your team, to yourself, to your team, to your clients. And then another one is just be the bright spot in your client's day, because everybody's going through this. Nobody is unaffected by this. And so if you can be that bright spot, people remember that. They'll remember what you were doing for them when all of this went down. So that's got to be the driving force. And that's a lot more than just fitness. I mean, yes, the fitness comes into there, but the customer experience is so much more than that. But I'm curious, you mentioned that you started in online personal training. You have a couple of other businesses that are based online. So what are the fundamental differences that you see in delivering a quality customer experience on virtually instead of in person?
So that's the hard part, right? So I'm a huge believer in energies and like movement of energy. So a lot of people that know me personally are like to be in my personal energy, right? And when I walk around my gym or I'm working out or I'm taking a team class or something, my energy is part of the experience, right? So the hard part is, okay, how the F do I take my energy and allocate it to all of the members virtually? So the hard part is crossing that bridge, but once I'm the type of person that I don't complain about the situation. Like I've been wounded in combat in Iraq. Like that was about the last time I ever complained. You know what I mean? So I didn't complain about the situation. I was like, I just have to figure it out. How do I get my energy out? So what I really started doing was I started researching algorithms on Facebook specifically, because my primary demographic is north of 35 years old, which is Facebook. I do have a younger crowd, which is on Instagram, of course, but I also figured out, and I actually informed Tom about this when we spoke last week, was if you go live, which I would do periodically prior to this, but it pings the phone. If you've liked my page and you're a follower, you get a notification regardless if you're on your phone or not that I'm live. So I would conserve my energy in the morning and go live at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the morning, where everybody is, most people are waking up or whatever, they're getting their day started. And I'm just I'm just on it with the energy. And I'm like, guys, like I'm here, the gym's closed, but I'm going to show you how to do a Russian get up real quick and a burpee or whatever. And you know what? I'm going to go to the food store and I'm going to teach you guys how to shop. And if I find toilet paper, I'll tell you where it is, and just like get them laughing, like get them happy, but also kind of lighten the mood. So what my primary emphasis of allocating my energy for that moment was calm down. No one should be stressing right now. We need to keep our immune system healthy with cortisol production elevated. your immune system will be compromised. So let's just calm down. Let's realize that we're all going to get through this. And here are some, terrible jokes that I might have. And let me show you a few things. And I did that every other day for the first week. And the shares and the freaking comments and everything was really returning of the energy. Because I believe, you put energy out, energy comes back. And I think if I were to answer the question in a simple form, it was allocating my energy correctly for the customers on live videos that initial week. Segue me setting up a time to hand out all of my equipment that week and talk to each and every single customer personally about a plan of action for them while they're home.
Gotcha. That makes total sense. So kind of compartmentalizing or doing sprints, kind of like an actor, when it's time to act, then you're on screen and act. Right. Deliver that energy, deliver that performance, and then once you're off screen, you can kind of chill out or dial it back a little bit.
Nap.
Yeah, exactly. That makes total sense. So what offerings, 2 questions really. The first one is, what offerings do you currently have for your members? Because the one good thing about this whole situation is that even though your clients can't come to your gym, they can't go to any other gym either. So you kind of have a captive audience. So you really have an obligation to give them something. But what are you giving your clients?
Yeah, so everything that I possibly can, which is all of my time and energy. My entire day I'm actually here in the gym more right now, responding to everybody, answering. This is the easy stuff. This is the low-hanging fruit, guys. Picking up the phone and talking to your members that are calling in, that are worried. Oh, I lost my job. I'm really scared. My mom said, okay, all right, so let's talk about it. All right. Are you breathing? Yes. Okay. Did you have a pillow under your head last night? Yeah. Do you have a bed to sleep in? Yeah. Okay. So we're doing pretty good. All right. So let's, and you just have to help them first and foremost. You give your time, you talk to them, you respond to the 50 DMs a day, you respond to the hundreds of comments a day. You give them your time first and foremost. You should be serving your clients with time because it's simple and we all have the same 24 hours. You still have to be able to take care of yourself. Now, if you're a gym owner, you have a gym to work out in, so you can work on the external. My opinions are you have to work on your internal as well. That's the first 2 hours of my day. But your time is a low-hanging fruit, responding to your customers, even the pissed off ones, because of course there's going to be those too. But the more complex things in what I'm offering is a pretty robust free Zoom class, group exercise class schedule. So we're running 3, 5, 15-ish classes right now a week. We're basically doing your basic group X broken down. And I have Zoom links going out to everybody once a week in a company email, and it's also scheduled to post in our closed Facebook groups daily. We're not putting it out publicly because we want to keep it member based, right? But we're bringing our members into the group. So my Facebook member group, no one really utilized, let alone was in, and then 2 weeks later we have a few hundred, and we're doing that with the links. We're also servicing our clients via personal training, Zoom wise, meaning getting them the links, whatever equipment they have. Now, most of our personal training customers have equipment in their house because they came and picked it up from us.
Okay.
Because no one can get any workout equipment right now. And still today, here we are 2 weeks later, I had 3 or 4 customers come to the front door. They know between 9 a.m. in 1 p.m., Monday through Friday. They can come to the front door and pick up equipment. We don't have much left. The linear leg press, like the machines are still here. Most free weight's gone. Yeah. But the point is, personal training, group classes, they have my equipment, all of my assets, like the majority of it, they have. I think that's a huge statement. But outside of that, we are providing in-home training programs for anybody that wants them, nutritional consults. We just got our smoothie bar. We use PFC. I don't know if you're familiar with them. On Uber Eats and Grubhub to, basically be delivered to them. Any customer that wants our supplements, we've been getting them our proteins, our mixes, whatever the heck they want from our smoothie bar. And I got to be missing something. I watched a video from Frank Nash on the Perform Better email yesterday. I think it went out a couple of days ago, but he had a really good point. And he said, if you have a gym, a community-based gym, come up with events for them to come to on Zoom outside of fitness. So what I did was I literally watched the video from Frank Nash, who is an excellent operator. I take it you know him?
Yeah, we're friends. We've been friends for about 3 years.
Yeah.
Actually, longer than that. Yeah, but I've known him for a while. Yeah, we see each other often.
Right. Right. So his point was come up with something that will help your members get their mind off the fact that there's a pandemic going on and there's a recession hitting. So I immediately went into my Facebook groups, created a poll and said, guys, I want to help you. Let's brainstorm. Let's figure some shit out. Here are some ideas of what I want to offer. What do you guys think? And I put, coffee with Chris, lunch with Chris and Bob, the GM, trivia night, game, art night, social hour. I just was, spitting things off. Everybody wants an art night and everybody wants a trivia night. So guess what? I went live this morning when I came in. Keep in mind, I put the poll up yesterday. I told them that it's coming. I said, this is going to be coming for next week. Make sure you're on our email list and in our members group, and we'll have that schedule out to you for next week. So the short answer is as much service as you possibly can do to keep them engaged and happy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was talking to Patton Hughes, who was on the show just before you, and she was saying something like that. So we had coffee this morning with the members, and we have a happy hour scheduled for this Friday, and we're going to keep doing those because like I said, you have a captive audience. You might as well service them while you can. So that's a pretty, because I know you said, aren't you doing a wine lovers night or something like that too?
Yeah, exactly. Wine night.
Yeah. And then how do you delegate that, and who do you delegate it to?
So I've said her a couple times. Alicia, my Group X manager, she, when I sat down my managers the day after we closed, I said, guys, we need to figure out what everybody's new tasks are. Okay, Alicia, what do you want to be in charge of? I want to be in charge of classes and training. Okay, perfect. You know what I mean? That's what you do. So she also has little ones, so I don't want her coming into the gym. Mm-hmm. So she's home, you know what I mean? She's running everything from her house. Once I figured out Zoom, because I didn't have Zoom until the day we closed, I got it to her and I gave her my sign-in credentials and I sent her the same 5-minute YouTube video that I watched. Now she handles everything. She handles not only setting up all the Zoom links, but posting it in all the groups, posting it wherever it needs to be posted, other than sending the Zoom links on our email list, which my marketer does, like a MailChimp, like an email blast. Mm-hmm. But she handles primarily all of the links when it comes to personal training and group training, or Group X training. And then she also hosts all the meetings. So it's all very seamless for her. We don't have any problems with it because there's not a bunch of variables. It's Alicia's got it. Alicia's handling it. She's servicing our clients. She loves it. Like, she's the type of Group X instructor that teaches like 5 classes a day anyways. So she loves it. I mean, it's what she does.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. So once you delegate a task, it's up to them to complete it the way that they need to do it in order to service the customer. And then they're the single point of accountability
Correct.
for anything that falls within that preview.
Correct. And then I just coach them. And I coached Alicia for maybe 2 quick phone calls after her first 2 meetings. And she's like, no, Chris, I got it. We're good. Okay, perfect. And of course I keep in touch with her on a daily basis, but I coach my staff. My staff coaches the customers.
Yeah, they're the frontline troops for sure.
100%.
Your generals. So let's talk about your staff. I know, because you said, you formulated a plan for how you were going to take care of the staff. Let's talk about that and how you did that and how that's going.
Yeah. So probably the second hardest decision I've ever had to make in business was, laying off the majority of my staff, which was a conversation that I had 6 days after I closed. I closed on a Monday night, and rather than dilly-dallying, I figured, okay, well, we're not going to be open until the end of April, so I don't have a lot of work for anyone, and technically I can't be working anyone. So I don't have the funds to employ a full staff. I got to lay everyone off. And I kept my managers, and I kept my marketer, and my mom. My mom works here. I'm Italian. So first things first, guys, I'm Italian. Listen, if mom needs a little extra income, I got work for mom, is what it comes down to. But so I kept 1, 2, 3, 4 people on, and a couple of my staff back up. Yes, I laid them off, but I also said, listen, first things first, as soon as I'm reopened, I'm calling you and telling you, get your ass fucking back in here. And they're like, please, Chris, like, yes, tell me. Not one person had a problem. They said, no problem. We'll file for unemployment. As soon as you reopen, we're there. And that's a sign of taking care of your people, because they'll come right back. But what I'm getting at is, I said, even though I'm laying you off, everyone can still come in and work out at the gym. You need to take your temperature every morning and send it to me in a text. And if it's above 99 degrees, you can't come in, just because of the virus. But I'm kind of digressing. I wanted to keep everyone healthy, but it was really, really difficult for me to lay everyone off. I had the conversation with them on a Sunday afternoon. Fortunately, it went over really well. But now I show up, I'm in the gym technically by 9 a.m. because that's when our business starts, even though our classes are running virtually at 7 a.m. And myself and my general manager are just tag teaming everything. It's 2 of us. And then Alicia is working virtually as handling all of the PT in Group X. And then my marketer is working virtually, because she has 3 young ones, handling all of our marketing, all of our emails, a lot of our social media. And then my mom, she just does paperwork when she's here. And I don't know if you're doing the same thing I am, but I'm gathering everything for all the government-based lending that's coming out and grants that's coming out. And if you've seen the paperwork, it's pretty extensive. So
yes.
But at the same time, we're calling like 20 to 50 members a day just to check in on them.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm running it right now.
Okay. And then then you just retained your kind of quote unquote essential employees, and you keep them on the payroll because they're still working for you. Gotcha.
I think if you put it into perspective, right? If like they're vital to the company and you need them, you need to keep them and take care of them.
Yeah.
If I could keep everyone, I would, but I don't have any partners or investors.
Gotcha. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do to make it through. Everybody gets that. So that's you taking care. We talked about the client experience. We talked about you taking care of your employees. What did you do on the vendor side?
Yeah, excellent question. My top three people that I wanted to talk to immediately was my landlords, my bank, and I use ABC Financial. So, I talked to my landlords. I said, guys, this is a situation I'm in, and I have a good relationship with them. I pay them rent every month, and I take care of their building. So they said, no problem, Chris. We'll deal with this when it's done. I talked to my bank, and they said, we don't have any lending for you, but we'll defer your loans. I said, okay, cool. I wish it was otherwise, have like a safety net, but you got to do what you got to do. Right. And then I talked to ABC Financial and talked to them and had the discussion with them about continuing to bill the customers. And I went over my freeze and cancellation policies. I didn't change anything. I just kept everything the same. And outside of that, like my minor lenders, I mean, I'm paying everything. I'm paying for trash. I'm paying for my insurance. I'm paying for my cable. I'm paying for my internet. I'm paying for my electricity and everything, but I don't have really the lights on or the heat on. I'm 20,000 square feet. I shut the heat off Monday morning when I found out that we had to close. Yeah. I mean, as you can imagine, my electric bill in the summer is, $7,000 a month. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's just mind blowing.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Okay. So then, and then how long do you, what's your plan? What duration are you planning for?
Yeah. So, this is pure speculation, but I've heard like 10 to 40% of gyms nationwide aren't going to reopen. Right. My biggest competitors that are down the street from me are not doing very well right now. So I'm on the attack. My military background, I don't sit back. I'm taking ground. It's like, I have a brand new marketing campaign rolling out next week. My members are daily posting how awesome the gym is, because they have equipment and they can work out, and we have given them fucking training programs and shit. And as you know, every time someone posts something, their entire network sees it. So I'm really taking care of my members. They're my voice right now. I'm not only redoing marketing for this current time, I'm developing Friday my marketing campaign for when we reopen. You know what I mean? So there's lots of variables. There's right now, but there's also when we're going to reopen. So my entire focus right now is maintain my plan that I have in place, add little pieces in here and there, focus on the reopening, right? I want to be ready. Like the conversation I had with my GM this morning at 9:00 when we came in was, listen, dude, like this is how I talk to my people. I'm like, yo, listen, dude. And he's like, what? He's like, what are we doing today? Like, he's like fired up. He's like, Chris, what the fuck are we doing today? I'm like, we need to be ready to drop these SBA loans immediately. I want to be the first one. And I think that's a really good piece of advice, guys. Have your shit ready for when these loans open next week, because they'll shut down the websites if there's too many. And they did the SBA relief website within 48 hours after this shit happened. They closed it down for a week. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah. So anyways, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get all our paperwork ready today. We're going to call 100 customers and we're going to work on a reopening checklist and get it done. And just attack, just have fun with it. Just figure out what you're going to do. I mean, if they were to tell me tomorrow, you have to reopen, I'm ready. I don't know if a lot of gym owners are, right? You have to be ready, especially if you have a staff of 50. You got to put everything back in place. You got to get the schedules going, the people going, the trainers going, the massages going, the cleaning going. And I guess the short answer is you have to be on the attack. You have to have a plan. You have to be ready. You have to be ready whether it's April 15th, April 30th, May 30th, June 1st, you don't know. But if you have a plan and you're ready, you're not going to be sitting there with your you know what in your hands.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm writing it down because that's an excellent point. And I think, the moral of the story is there's opportunities. You just have to change your lens. Like you said, you're not one to complain and you're not one to kind of sit back. You're always one pushing forward. And I think most entrepreneurs are like that. So you just have to change your focus and see the opportunities, because there are opportunities there. I was sharing with you before we started recording, I was talking to Sean Greeley, and he was telling me that one of his clients is actually adding clients during this time because her competitors aren't servicing their clients virtually. There are some gyms that just shut down. That's it. Or they thought it was going to be 2 weeks and they put everybody on freeze, and now they're trying to unfreeze people, which is a hard sell. Unfreeze a membership to a gym that you can't come to. Yeah. But the point is that there are opportunities. They're not. She saw that they weren't servicing her competitors, so she went after them. Her competitors weren't servicing their clients, so she went after them and got some of them. So there are opportunities there. And like you said, when this thing is open and gyms are able to reopen, it's going to be the least amount of competition you will see for a good period of time.
Yeah.
So you better be ready to capitalize on it. Come out of the gate strong. So I agree with you on that point. And that's a very good point. Be ready to open so you're not scrambling, because I think a lot of people, myself included, have taken the approach of, oh, I got the month of April, I'll just chill, like wrong, because it will be here before you know it. And there might be opportunities that I miss. I want to find out how this chick is adding members to her.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm gonna hunt her down and see if I can bring her on the show. But the point is that there are opportunities, and you
Absolutely.
have to be ready. The SBA loans, you have to be ready for it. When you open, you have to be ready for it. If anything changes, because for a while there, things were changing by the hour. I would write an email, send it out, and the next day it was irrelevant, because, we had new information. So you just have to be ready and ready to pivot and ready to attack. So I agree with you 100%.
I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to share like a live situation that I'm dealing with. And as of tomorrow, I'm adding a $250 a month membership to my gym. All right. And this is like the first sale I've had in like 2 weeks. Right. And this is how I did it. All right. And it's just one, but it's a personal training membership, basically. I got an email. I'm emailing them the paperwork they need, because we do nutrition as well. So there's, things that have to be filled out, like food journals, like we're all familiar. This individual has a sick mom at home and doesn't have a scanner and can't get me the paperwork. Right. And she's stressing out, but she needs something. So the last email that I sent to her was, I will come to your house tomorrow and pick up the paperwork from you. How's 1 p.m.? She's going to respond back with, awesome, right? You have to be willing to do whatever it takes to take care of your customers and help them in this situation. And it's not a matter of what I figured out. It's just a selfless act. The byproduct of how much you can help people is the money that you see in your bank account.
Yeah. And that's why the majority of people get into this business, is because they do want to have an impact on people's lives and change their lives for the better. Chris, this has been great. Some great information, and more than anything else, just some good news and some motivation, because it's easy to get down and kind of wallow in the mire a little bit, or mire down, wallow in the muck, is what I'm trying to say. So just some motivation to keep moving forward. I think everybody needs that. I know I need it from time to time. So we come to my favorite part of the show, and that is the final 3 questions. So I always look forward to this, because I think we get some of the best answers. And I'm based on your background and the topic of your podcast, which is self-development. So the first question is, what has been your most successful failure? COVID-19 doesn't count. So, and what I mean by that is something you thought was a devastating loss at the time. You didn't think you were going to be able to bounce back from, but you took lessons from it that you used to propel you to greater success down the road.
So Jim, this is right in line with something I've been working on is vulnerability, right? So good. Excellent question. And I'm happy that I can answer this question and be vulnerable. Because for the first 30 plus years of my life, there was no such thing. But so the biggest lesson that I've learned in business was about 10 years in, and I had been in the gym for about 2. I had to fire my girlfriend that I was going to marry and break up with her at the same time.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was, once I realized it was my mistake to hire her while we were in a relationship to be the general manager, I had to accept that it was, I know I know the listeners can't see me, but I'm not a finger pointer at anyone other than myself. Like, I'm the reason why the mistakes happen, and it's my responsibility. And that really was driven home when I lost my relationship of 5 years and had to fire her because of it. I lost my relationship. I mean, I knew I was going to get broken up with when I fired her, but it wasn't her fault. It was my fault. And I've learned so incredibly much since, to include new girlfriend 2 years later. I had a serious employee shift where like 3 people left at once. And I had to open my gym, general manage my gym, and own my gym. I had a bed brought into my office, but anyways, I don't know. Have you been there?
Yeah. I've been there.
Yeah. So I was like, well, fuck. And my current girlfriend was like, oh, baby, I'm self-employed. I'll just come work for you. And I was like, no.
Bad idea.
Yeah. And I think you have to go through these extraordinarily, heartbreaking, vulnerable circumstances to really see the silver lining. And once you're able to really just see the situation for what it is, rather than point fingers and be upset and have a broken heart, you can progress in life, let alone business.
Yeah, I agree. And that's a great story and a great lesson, because chances are you probably knew you had to fire her a long time before.
Yeah, probably about a year before that.
Yeah. And that's how it is. I mean, if you guys are, engaged, maybe it takes you a little bit longer to fire, but I know I had a GM that I knew I had to fire. I knew I had to fire him probably close to a year before I fired him.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, you go to work every day and it's just hanging over your head. And sucking your energy dry.
Sucking the energy. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so my next question is, in your time in the gym business, in the fitness industry, what has, and COVID-19's excluded, is what has been the biggest surprise you've had to deal with that you didn't see coming?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, Jim. Honestly, the biggest surprise that I found was I thought I was going to come by a gym. I'm well known in the industry in this area for fitness. Everyone was going to respect my abilities, and I thought everyone was going to want my help. And I humbly had to learn that the majority of people coming through my door were directed by their doctors. I have to have a gym membership or I'm going to get surgery, or my doctor said I have to do this, or, this or that. And they don't want to be here. They have to. Mm-hmm. And one of the most humbling lessons I've had to learn is, how do I service a client that hates me or hates the idea of a gym? And being raised Italian, I was raised with a sense of family and a sense of love that I think is pretty strong. And I just loved everyone and just selflessly loved them and gave them everything I could, and I still do. And I think that it doesn't work 100% of the time, but it works a lot of the time. And you just really have to put into perspective that it's not about you at all. It's not about your feelings. It's not about your bank account. It's not about your personal time. It's about your customers. And those same customers, I have dogs at my gym, and my 11-year-old boxer passed away a few months ago, and those same customers were crying to me that Frank died and how hard it hurt them. I'm sitting here, I just fucking lost my dog of 11 years, like torn up, but not showing it. And I'm consoling them because you give them the love, you give them the family, you give them the real aspects of a community, and you could get through them one at a time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great point. And that's something that everybody's looking for, that secret formula. And the bottom line is there's no shortcuts to it.
No.
It has to be genuine, and it has to be developed from the ground up. And as Tom Plummer says, that's not the sexy shit.
Unsexy as fuck.
Yeah. Hard work is not sexy. Wearing, being the owner, the GM, and opening the place up is not sexy. But it's part of that necessary task that you have to do in order to make your business successful. So that's a great answer. And then my last one, and I'm not sure, I may stump you on this one, but where do you go for your personal and professional development?
Oh, that's a great question. So I'm an avid reader. So my morning routine, very quickly put, is 2 hours from between 4 and 5 a.m. when I wake up. Well, it's either 4 or 5 to 6 or 7, depending on the time I wake up. I read, meditate, journal, gratitude journaling, what I'm thankful for, and write affirmations about what I want. So inner work and personal work is the first thing that I do in the morning, every single morning, Monday through Sunday, even when I'm sick, even on holidays. And I've developed most in life when I went on my self-development journey, probably about 4 years ago, when I got to buying a gym and realized I was in over my head, regardless of an MBA, regardless of 10 years experience as a leader, regardless of all that bullshit. Outside of inner work, I have 2 mentors. One is Tom Plummer. Actually, let's say Tom second. One, his name is Pejman Gadier. He's a couple years older than me. He's 38. He's worth like $88 million. He's fantastic at business, let alone many other things in life. And his message very much resonates with me. You could find him, his handle on Instagram is I Create Millionaires. And excellent mentor. But Tom Plummer, my second mentor, has not only been there for me when I needed him, but he also just understands me as a being. I'm 6 foot, 220 pounds. Like this is just my vessel. Chris, my being, is inside, right? That's how I look at it. Like I said, I'm deep. Tom gets it. Tom understands. And he gets me completely. And when I talk to him, we don't just talk fitness, we talk life. And I think it's really important to have people in your corner that not only understand you, but can give you advice that resonates with you. There's plenty of mentors out there. Shit, I'm one. But if I don't resonate with you, then it wouldn't be good that I'm in your corner, right? And if you have the right people in your corner, your life is going to advance. Because here's an example. I knew I was bleeding through my kids' care. I was bleeding like $2,000 to $3,000 a month, like just running the payroll on it. And I said to Tom, and I was like, dude, like no one understands this. He goes, what are the numbers? I tell him the numbers. He goes, close that fucking shit down. And I said, yeah, what about my members? Do it. Okay. So I do it.
Yeah, that's Tom, all right.
I did it with an 8-day notice too. And I never heard that many atrocious things said about me from my customers. But anyways, the point is,
and probably some of them didn't even have kids.
No, they didn't. So I mean, we could talk numbers right now, but I was bleeding.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? You're going to go bankrupt, or you're going to cut the fucking, you're going to plug the hole. Mm-hmm. So what it comes down to is I'm sitting at one of his conventions, like 2 or 3 months later in Stamford, Connecticut, where I'm based out of, and there's like hundreds of gym owners there. And he just gets to this point. He's like, look at Chris over there. And I'm like sitting there with my team. You know, I got like my people with me, and he's like, that guy, he knows what it takes. All of you need to get up and go talk to him. And I'm like, what? You know, of course I networked, and I met a lot of gym owners and so on and so forth at that point. And he praised me up and down for 5 minutes for what I did, amongst other things. But what I'm getting at is you need to work with someone. If you're a gym owner, or you're an up and coming entrepreneur, or you're online based, you know, whatever you're doing, if in business or in life, have someone in your corner that understands you. I think that's the best thing you can do outside of reading a book every day.
Yeah, I agree. It goes back to, I always go back to, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Damn right.
So choose them wisely and be purposeful in your choices of who you choose to spend your time with, because it does impact you. So I agree. So this has been great, Chris. I'm glad you came on the show. Glad you did
thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, this has been great. So where can people go to find more information, get in touch with you, reach out to you, all that good stuff?
Yeah, Jim. Well, first things first, like, dude, thank you for your time, man. Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to you and you know, talk to your fantastic audience. Guys, thank you so much. Like, my skin's tightening up right now. I'm getting like the tinglies, the gratitude tinglies. Like, thank you for listening to me. I only wish you the best. This is a tough time, and if we help each other to help our people in our life, we will make it. We will. And you have to keep that mindset. And if what I say resonates with you, I'm a little rough around the edges, I'm vulgar, I'm black and white, but if you like it, follow me. I'm on an Instagram. It's Chris Warens 1, ChrisWarnes 1. If you want to follow me on Facebook, it's my biggest audience. It's Christopher Warens. And if my podcast is The CW Clinic, no spaces, The CW Clinic. And listen, I'm just grateful that you had me, Jim. Like, thank you. I've had a couple awesome conversations with you. I would love to have a drink with you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah. So next time we meet at one of the NFBA events or the summits or one of those things, we'll definitely have to sneak off somewhere, and we probably can drag Tom. I hear he's a sucker for a good
Wine.
wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
And let me tell you something. The thing I learned from Tom and going to his clinic is that if you don't go to the social hours, you're missing 60% of the information. I mean, without a doubt. So definitely do yourself, get a glass of wine, and Tom, he'll give you all kinds of shit for free.
Can I piggyback off that?
Yeah.
So I've been to like 4 or 5 at this point. I didn't go to the social hours in the first couple, but the last couple I went, and the last one I went to in Stamford, Connecticut, it was just Tom and I and my team. Mm-hmm. So you get all of 40 years experience?
Yeah.
Right. Arguably one of the best gym owners to ever live.
Yeah.
Focused in on just you and your team over drinks.
Yeah.
And it's laid back and it's casual, and definitely go to the social hour. Definitely. It's not a 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. day. No. It's a 9 a.m. to like whenever Tom is hammered and needs to go. And I say that respectfully. Yeah. Whenever Tom has had his fair share of drinks.
Yeah. I can tell you some stories about Tom and the socials and afterwards. My favorite one is in Chicago. But if
that's a good one.
When we meet up at one of these conferences, I'll tell you about it. So, and listeners, you'll have to email me, and then I may tell you. So I'll have to clear it with Tom first. But Chris, thanks for coming on the show. And all of those links will be in the show notes. Go to trainergym.net, click on this episode of the podcast, and all the links to contact Chris and listen to his podcast will be right there in the show notes. Chris, man, this has been awesome. I really appreciate it, and I hope you stay safe and well.
Vice versa. Thank you for having me. Let's all get through this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. Well, have a good rest of your day. All right, and Chris, right, I'm going to put this out fairly quickly, probably first couple of weeks of April. And when it's coming out, I'll just send you all the links and everything, the copy and all of that good stuff, so you can push it through your network as well. And if you could send me some high resolution headshots, if you have any, that I could use for the artwork, that'd be awesome too.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Do you have anything in particular you want? Like I have all sorts of shit for Instagram.
Yeah, I just usually just kind of go whatever you give me and kind of whatever looks good to me at the moment. So yeah.
My designer just did some badass work, so I'll send it over.
Yeah, awesome. Great, man. I'll look forward to it. All right. And I'll find you on Facebook too.
Yeah, dude. Listen, honestly, again, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
This has been great.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, man.
Take care. Take it easy.
All right. Bye.
Let me know if you need anything.
Same here.
All right. Bye.